So, what's all this talk about vision? As you may have noticed, United Methodist Women has a new look, at least a slightly new look. We'll be using our new slimmed-down logo and the line that refers to faith, hope, and love in action on all our printed material, and you'll also see it online at our website, Facebook, social networking, Twitter, and e-store. We hope that you will use it too. When we conducted surveys of members, we learned that this phrase really resonated with you. It describes how we see ourselves and how we think the church and the communities we connect with see us too. I like to think that this is because United Methodist Women members are engaged in the work as whole persons. Our faith impels us into works of justice and service that are designed to make the world a better place for women and children. We do this because we believe that God calls us to do it, because God equips us to do it, and because we have hope in God's final victory over all that destroys life as God created it to be. We also do this work for and with each other, for and with young people, for and with women around the world, out of love. In a very Wesleyan way, our love of God shows itself in love of neighbor. The love of neighbor may break our hearts, but it certainly helps us to love God more fervently and perhaps to wrestle with God just a little bit. It's no wonder then that United Methodist Women act. We ask questions, we participate, we organize, we support, we confront, we give, we feed, we call people to service, and we send them out into varied fields around the world. So, we've been asking ourselves, if this describes both who we are when we are at our best and who we want to be, what evidence should we look for to confirm that we're doing the right things? Things that take us toward our best self and away from distractions or dead ends. We've identified 5 areas in which we are looking forward to significant development. The first area is spiritual growth. Deepening our reliance on God, extending our abilities to hear God's voice and see God's hand. This is absolutely essential for us to be the whole persons that the purpose calls us to be. It's also essential to help us to do the hard work of community building and the scary work of truth-telling. We need to understand and to think, but we also need to listen to where God may be leading and ask for grace to follow. That's how we can be confident that God is guiding our steps and making our paths plain. We also need God's strength to help us to endure. Even youths will grow weary, except the Spirit of the Lord renews our strength. The next area is leadership development. Now, as United Methodist Women veterans, you might say, there are quite enough leaders already. Everyone in United Methodist Women has strong opinions, and most members find clear ways to communicate what they think and feel and experience. Of course, that's true, up to a point. Not all of us have the ways and means to contribute this wealth of experience outside United Methodist Women. There are places in your congregations, in your communities, and in the policy work of the church, the nation, and the world where your voices are needed. Unless you are able to share your experience, your story will not be told. We want to engage in intentional work of leadership development that will equip our members to be leaders in a variety of endeavors. But, as you suspected, that's not all. We want to continue to be about the work of leadership development of all the women in church. Persons looking at vocations of deaconess service, missionary service, and service as clergy. We want to partner with women's organizations in every United Methodist, and Uniting Church to see that they have training, support, and encouragement where it is needed and welcome. We also want to provide leadership development for women and girls around the world, whether they are churched or unchurched, so that their wisdom and their perspectives are heard. That's one of the reasons that we have been emphasizing the need for grassroots women in Haiti to be part of the decision-making process. It's part of why we offer broad support to a variety of groups who come to the Church Center on the United Nations to participate in advocacy work at the UN. It's why we offer thousands of dollars in scholarship funding every year. This takes us to education. When United Methodist Women is at its best, you see transformative educational experience. Bible studies, mission studies, Ubuntu journeys, all kinds of education that stretches us, may create just a little dissonance and helps us to come to a new place of understanding, appreciation, and engagement. Sometimes this is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's so exciting that it's hard to sit still. Sometimes it is when we grieve or get really angry. But something changes. Some new way of seeing the world emerges, and we're moved in new paths. When we're acting in ways that are most true to who we are, we see an amazing alignment between our service work and our advocacy. Our work for the elimination of violence against women is not an abstract matter. We have members, as well as residents in our shelters and participants in our community programs who know the reality of violence and domestic abuse. Our regional missionaries work with victims of rape as a tool of war and engage with comfort women and their children. We know whereof we speak. This is not merely an ideological commitment that moves us to advocate for the United States to sign the Treaty Against Violence on Women and others like it. We see the results of poor nutrition, lack of health care, and cycles of poverty in this nation and around the world. This makes us passionate to work on the Millennium Development Goals set out by the United Nations. This is United Methodist Women when we are being our truest self. We feed people, and we ask why they were hungry to start with. If we show all this evidence, if we focus our efforts in these areas and leverage our work, we will grow as an organization. We'll grow in numbers, in the participation of all generations of women, in our celebration of our cross-racial, cross-cultural identity, and in our giving. We couldn't help it.